Well, hello and welcome to the e-commerce podcast. My name is Matt Edmondson. It is great to be with you on this wonderful, not so sunny afternoon here in the UK, but it's good to be with you, whatever the weather's doing in your part of the world. Really, really great, actually. And if you're new to the show, a very, very warm welcome to you. We talk about all things e-commerce, which is, it's not a surprise given the title of the podcast, really. It's what we do. It's what we talk about. We talk about e-commerce. I myself am a bit of an e-commerce entrepreneur. I've been doing it since 2002. So, a few years, and just love it. Love doing these podcasts, love getting experts on, love getting founders on, and just hearing stories and insights and all that sort of stuff. It's what we do. So if you're new with us, stick around. And do subscribe to the show because we have a new episode coming out every week, which is just jam-packed full of good stuff. And if you're with us, if you're a regular to the show and you haven't yet either signed up to the newsletter or you've not checked out cohorts, I would encourage you to do so. You can find out more information at ecommercepodcast.net. The newsletter is just the weekly newsletter. We bring you obviously the notes and the links from the show with the guest. And all of that, we also throw some extra stuff in there. We've really worked hard to get this new newsletter up and running and delivering some insane value. So do subscribe to it. And of course, Cohorts is our monthly group where just a bunch of us get together on Zoom. There's no cost. We just talk to other e-commerce entrepreneurs. Some of them are just starting out. Some of them have been around for a while. And we just shoot the breeze a bit about e-commerce, share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your questions, stuff you're struggling with. We got an actual message through on the WhatsApp group. We have a little cohort WhatsApp group. And I saw that Tina was on there. Hi, Tina, if you're watching. What is your current conversion rate for organic? I'm finding it difficult to forecast based on previous 2 years. And they're running at, I won't tell you who Tina is or what her conversion rate is because that's private for the cohort. But that's the kind of thing that we do. We have like a little WhatsApp group and everybody just jumps in and joins it. So if you want to know more about that, if you're in an e-commerce business, come join. It's all free. It's all awesome. And more information, like I say, at ecommercepodcast.net. Now, I am very excited to introduce to you Ken Rapp today. Now, Ken and I are going to be talking about something very near and dear to my heart. And I'll tell you why. Because whenever, if you've ever heard me talk about the Slingshot framework, you will know that I think e-commerce is a series of things from product and branding to marketing to conversion, those things that we have to think about. And they're the stuff that we always think about, I think. But every company I've ever gone into and done coaching with or anybody I've ever spoken to, the one area, this is the sixth area of our framework. I call it experience, where I think every e-commerce business can look at and make some instant high returns is everything that happens after you have got a customer who's hit the buy now button. So they've gone to your website, they've put in their credit card details, and they've gone for it. Everything from that point on is a really interesting process to think about. And so today's guest, Ken, is an expert in this, which is why I'm excited. It's a bit like, Ken, the best analogy I've got, right? And tell me what you think about this, is whenever you go into a coffee shop, I've used this story before, but you go into a coffee shop and there's a favorite coffee shop of mine in town in Liverpool. I don't drink coffee, by the way, but I do like to go in the coffee shop. And you walk past this beautiful, sort of cake drinks cabinet, and it's got beautiful pastries and things like that in. It's got a well-presented menu, and the barista's behind there chatting to you. What do you want? You can, scan your card, get your buy one, I think it's buy 10, get one free kind of thing. All of that happens as it should. And it's a wonderful experience. The counter's good. You pay your money and then they just sort of shove you off to the other end of the bar where you stand bored. There's no experience. You just sort of stand there and you're waiting for your drink to arrive and they shout it out and you have to sort of go and collect it. And it's like everything in that coffee shop has been thought about until the point of purchase. But then everything after is just a bit, I don't understand it. And it's like, we've got your money. We don't care now. And that's the best analogy that I've got to describe why I think this is important. So Ken, welcome to the show. It's super good to have you. I'm super excited for this conversation, man.
Thank you, Matt. I'm super excited as well, given the way you just described that, you get us. So I can't wait to chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So your company is called BluStream, if I'm correct.
That's right. Blue, BLU, stream. No E in the blue.
Okay. And just tell everybody a little bit about what your company does.
Yeah, so we're all about that post-sale experience, delighting the consumer. So we say it this way, we've all invested in great CRMs and websites and e-commerce stores and then even track the product delivery all the way to the consumer. If it's a shipment, it's tracked to the door. If it's in your example in the coffee shop, it's handing that consumer the coffee. But let's take it, if it's a shipped product from e-commerce to the door, you're then disconnected with that customer. It's exactly as you described it. And they're left on their own. We're all left on our own to unbox that product. And if I've done it 10 times, no problem. I'm probably in pretty good shape unboxing it. If I've never had the product before, I'm looking for the quick start guide or trying to read the side of the label or trying to figure out how to do that. And we call it that doorstep to delight stage where we're kind of on our own. We may get an email with even a request to leave a review. I might not have unboxed it yet, but I get asked if I can leave a review. I may get a coupon to buy another product, but I haven't even tried it yet. And this whole concept of after sale is where we see a great opportunity for brands to connect with their customers around the product experience, which is then going to drive this loyalty and repeat. You can make the recommendations of the next sale, the repeat sale, and totally change the game on that connection and that customer delight for a lifetime of brand value.
Yeah, it's so true. That's so true. I love that phrase, doorstep to delight. That's I'm going to steal that, Ken. I'm not going to lie. I'm totally going to steal it. So
just give us credit for it at any time. Say it as much as you want.
Absolutely, no problem. So here's a question for you that I like to ask my guests, right at the start. So in this whole area, if you had a magic wand, that you could wave and solve one key problem, the mistake that you see most companies making in this area and in this space, what would that be? What would that mistake be that you would fix? I'm really curious. What's the biggest thing that we're all doing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a mistake or it's that there's not been a way as you scale to actually have a personal connection with your consumer at scale. I'll tell you a story one of our customers told us. She said that when she was small, she sells dog probiotics for your dog's gut. And she said that her consumer would come in and she called them pet parents. She knew the pet parent's name. She knew the dog's name. She knew whether it was a Chihuahua or a Great Dane. And she could really guide the conversation, personalizing that experience. Then a funny thing happened. She started to be successful. And as she started to be successful, she had too many customers. She couldn't have a personal relationship anymore. Yeah. And so she got a great deal and is distributing through Whole Foods. And now it's game over. And she and others, and she has no way of being connected. So I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's a desire we all have to help our customer have a great experience, a delightful experience, not only unboxing it if they're new to it, but then using the product and really getting the most out of the usage. We call it engaging with the product. And so I think what the mistake might be to not be looking for solutions that are coming about. That's one of the biggest challenges a company like BluStream is facing when our product experience technology is new. And so it's just getting the word out. So keep an eye out for things like this would be the only risk. If you don't keep an eye out, then you may miss the opportunity to actually solve that problem out of the gate.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think I can see how that would work. So when we started out in e-commerce and when we're a small company, it's easy to do things like put in the handwritten notes. There's a company where I buy pens from. I've talked about them before, called Tom Studio. There's a company where I buy stationery from. It's just a small little stationery store, and they're great. And every time I buy from them, I get these sort of lovely handwritten notes, and they're telling me a story, or there's something, and they're doing it well, and you can see that they're caring and they're putting a lot of attention to that. And we did that, right? When we were first doing our beauty business, we were like, well, let's do handwritten notes because it's personalized, it shows we care. But there came a point when that became untenable because you were sending out hundreds, if not thousands of orders. I mean, it would take you longer to write the note than pack the order. And so I can see as you scale that, and I'm not saying everybody should do handwritten notes. What I'm saying is as you scale these things where you get to know your customers become more and more difficult. I remember in the early days, the people picking and packing in the warehouse would start to recognize certain customers who were buying time and time again. And so the guys in the warehouse would then add things to their box to say, oh, hey, Gene, good to see you back. It's Nicola here. I packed your order last time. I see you're a regular customer. Here's something for you. And again, that worked really well up until a point where you had just way too many customers and the guys just couldn't, there's no way that they could remember it. And so we would think about, well, do we systematize that? And how do we do that? But it was hard at the time. And so there is this inevitability, I suppose, as you scale, that doing those kind of things becomes more and more complicated. And so you just go, well, we just can't do it anymore, which I think is a shame. And so I agree with you that actually when you scale, there is, like I say, you just sort of start to go, well, this is not possible anymore. So it's intriguing you say that that's the biggest thing that you'd like to see changed.
Yeah. So interesting with what you're saying. It's fantastic. Think about that ownership experience at scale. And if you already knew what to do, you knew what was delighting your customers from those early days. And as you start to scale, if you could automate those and systematize those, you basically create dialogues that would be as if you were there. And there are moments throughout the life cycle of ownership that actually are great low-hanging fruit to do that. But there hasn't been a way for you or I to do that. And that's what really BluStream's all about, our PX platform. So for example, when unboxing a pair of sneakers, asking, well, thank you for being a great customer. Do you know how we make these sneakers? It's like, here's a message from our founder. And we see WhatsApp, SMS, text messaging, or even internet-based messaging as the vehicle we're using right now to communicate. So it's this, hey, Ken, thanks for buying our sneakers. Here's a message from our founder. And if I click on that, then I'm engaging. If I don't, maybe I haven't had time now. I would click on it later. Let's say it's a few days later. Those two differences, whether I clicked right away or clicked 3 days later, is it changing the personalization to me? If you clicked right away and I clicked 3 days later, my cadence of the journey, we call it, that messaging set of dialogues will be different and personalized to each of us individually. Yeah. The next step is, geez, how often, why did you buy those sneakers? We're just curious. Was it are you planning to run a marathon? Are you going to use them every day? Or is this something that you bought for special occasions? Because my son has like a closet full of Nike sneakers. So by knowing that second why, I call it, it's the first why is you wanted a pair of sneakers. Like I wanted sneakers, I want some sneakers. The second why is, why do you actually have the sneakers? And if it's because I want to exercise, well, maybe there's some tips there around exercise that are different than if I'm actually going to run a marathon. Mm-hmm. And that's different than if I'm just going to wear them every day for the fall because I like the comfort of my feet. And then knowing a little bit about the usage, ask a question, like being able to ask via WhatsApp or text, hey, that's great. We're really excited. You want to train for a 10K at the end of the summer, or by October 31st for a 10K, geez, and if how many miles a week are you running now? And you say, oh, I'm ramped up to 3 miles or 5K or whatever they say. Having the intelligence baked into the journey that already knows that at 50 kilometers or at 100 miles or whatever it is it turns out to be, you really ought to change the inserts, because for comfort and for pain and to help you with your ergonomics, you really should change, making that recommendation at about 40 kilometers. It's like magic, right? Now you're having the brand actually know something about how you're using and engaging with their products, and then giving you tips and recommendations that are completely relevant. Maybe there's some rain coming and they have a waterproofer that the brand sells, but the consumer who bought the sneakers doesn't remember that, and they're tracking toward their 10K at the end of the October, and they could use that tip right there and then because the weather changed. So all of these dialogues, and then I'll just sort of finish the thought, Matt, with what's beautiful is technology. The technology of texting, of WhatsApp, of internet messaging, even voice now is coming of age to the point where we as consumers, we engage and interact well with our phones. And so we're riding that technology. BluStream is riding that technology curve. And basically what we've built is a journey, a product experience journey, experience platform that you can set up a journey in 15 minutes and then do some edits in a couple of hours and you're up and running. And taking your experience as a brand and automating that into the marketplace.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? And I'm just, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm just reminded of an episode we did back in July with Abhishek Chandra. I just want to make sure I pronounce the name right. Abhishek was interesting because they're a company called GoQuick. I don't know if you've come across them. Indian-based company, and they use WhatsApp in their technology. And they found just by using WhatsApp alone, the impact was quite extraordinary. But they were just using it more for things like cart abandonment, where you're using it and where your suggestion taking it actually becomes a bit more interesting. It's almost like to the customer, it feels like somebody on the other end of somebody's at the other end of the WhatsApp asking intelligent questions rather than, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend? Which is, it's an interesting question, but it's as dull as dishwater, isn't it? And I think I like that because that's smart. You're asking smart questions about the product that's going to help the consumer on a platform like WhatsApp, which is probably something that's going to get straight to them as opposed to something like email, which I suppose you could use. And maybe you can talk to that. But I like it. I think it's smart, isn't it? But how do you, I know you've got your platform, but obviously there's people listening to the show who are just starting out or who don't have your platform. What advice would you give to someone that maybe hasn't got some of this automated technology, but that there may be some quick wins to at least get them on the road?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we launched a technology in June that we put out there into the world, and all of your listeners are welcome to go try it on our website, which is BluStream.io, called the Journey Builder. And you literally can put in your company name and pick one of your product lines or product categories, and Journey Builder automatically does a couple things, but it produces a roadmap of engagement areas around your product by looking out on the internet, and it says, okay, what is publicly available around that product that would be relevant for this brand, particularly to engage their customers around, from the what we call prerequisites and unboxing or activation of the relationship, the engagement phase where consumers are using the product and you start to get to know the data around usage, and then care and maintenance, those 3 areas: unboxing, usage, and care. And so Journey Builder produces a roadmap of a dozen, 15 different areas that you could engage. And so that's free. That's on our website to go look at. It also produces a flow chart of engagement, a dialogue based on our data lake of millions and millions of interactions that are out there between consumers and brands. And so we're happy to share that with any of your listeners and any new potential clients for us, because we're on a mission to help connect companies with their consumers around product experiences. And it's that data lake workflow or flow chart that you could simply have a look at it. It even has questions in there like you unbox. Here's a great one. Like if you don't have any batteries, the prerequisite, right? Did you know before you even, after the e-commerce, as you said, is purchased for some product that needs batteries, did you know you need batteries before it arrives at the door? So the delight phase starts actually a little bit before the doorstep. It's before the door, but it's like, imagine that those dialogues going on, and Journey Builder, which there's a link on our website, will allow you to put in your company brand, your brand name and a product line, and you'll get this roadmap as well as a workflow you can load into BluStream system, and it'll start running. We get you up and running, within a few hours. You're able to test it. So I love starting small. Pick one of your product lines, probably where you're not getting repeat business. The best place to go is look for one of your products or some of your major products where you're not getting the kind of repeat business and continuations of subscriptions that you really, as a brand, you really are passionate about and you believe you should, but you're not getting that. And unfortunately, the reason we exist and we're so passionate about helping the post-sale arena is most of us, I think the stats are less than 30% of consumers buy a second or third time. So, we spend all this money to get a consumer on customer acquisition and with coupons, and then we don't get the second or third sale 70% of the time. And in the subscription economy, we literally give away the first few products trying to get a customer to start, but we lose 50% of those within 90 days. So all this money spent to get customers on the boat, and then the boat is leaking. And so we see an incredible, absolutely dramatic change there. The revenue, repeat sales will increase by 30%, churn will reduce by 30%. Just by engaging your customer in an ongoing way that's personalized to them and relevant to the customer. And you mentioned earlier, we all get messages post-sale on email. We have a rule of thumb, so I'd share with your listeners, don't send any coupons or asks for reviews for 5 messages. Just a rule of thumb that has created incredible engagement on our platform. We have over 90% of the consumers on behalf of dozens and dozens of brands. 90% of their consumers are still on journeys today, months, quarters, years later, because they really appreciate getting tips and advice and having a connection back to the brand.
No, I love that. That's a very simple, practical tip. Do not send anything in the first 5 messages where it's a coupon to buy again or asking for a review. Just deliver value. Love that. I'm curious if I can just back up a little bit, Ken. You talked about the Journey Builder, looking at 3 areas: unboxing, usage, and care. They're the 3 areas that you said. Why those 3 areas?
So if you think about all of us, all of your listeners and all of us who buy products, we have defined those as the stages of product ownership. Now, there's no magic to it. It's simply we've bought products and brought them home, and then we unbox them. And we've all faced that problem. I'm only 35 in here, but if I bought a supplement to grow my hair back, I expect it to grow back within a week or so. But actually, if I read the fine print, it's going to take almost 3 months. And so, we unbox, and our skill level and experience with a product is what's the variable there. So you're going to unbox, but if you have a new user, a beginner versus an intermediate versus an expert, they have different needs for that unboxing. So that's stage 1. Then they move to the engagement stage, or what we call usage or engagement. And now using the product is that second why. And we love, it's the lifestyle. Why did you buy the product? Well, because I decided I'd like to grow some hair back, and so I need some coaching. I need to understand what the product, how the product works and how long it's going to take, and some reassurance that I made a good decision once I've started using the product. Not only that, but imagine if you're the brand, the kind of data you start to see where your customers are having trouble unboxing so you can take corrective action.
Yeah.
You start to see how your customers, your consumers are actually using your products. And there's so much wonderful knowledge, and your consumers want the help. So they're giving you zero-party data about how often they use the product, or why they're using the product, it's perfect timing there at that interface between unboxing and usage to then you ask for the review, and we see unbelievably high reviews and way more of them. Boston term, way more of. And we see so many more that we amplify the consumers that are your best consumers. So you go from unboxing to usage, and then care is not for every product. We see that in the usage stage, how should I store my smoothies in the freezer? Based on my usage, do I put them in the freezer? How many are in the bag? And maybe some tips on some food and bev, or some, beauty products that, I should store in a certain way and not in another way, or supplements. But then there's the real care around things like guitars. And as we chatted earlier, I'm a crazy rock and roll guitarist. And this all started because one of my guitars, and don't tell my wife, I have a lot of guitars, but
I think she probably knows, Ken. I think if your wife is like mine, she knows. She might not say, but she knows.
She knows. You're right. She knows. But I got this new guitar from a prestigious brand, beautiful brand. Got it home, love the sound. And then just about this time of year, October, November here in the Boston area, things get dry. And they start getting very dry. I had no idea that this acoustic guitar was so sensitive to the wood, was so sensitive to dryness, and it cracked.
Right.
And so that was the concept was, boy, either the guitar should have been talking to me, like I could scan a QR code in the case and ask a question, or it should have proactively, with a journey from that brand, given me the heads up, or the brand should have been talking to me in a way that, hey, we're here for the long haul. We know guitars are, they stay in families for long periods of time. We're here with, it's almost a VIP club, or most of our client brands, they actually brand around this post-sale ability with a VIP club, or the concierge, digital concierge, or something. We have one of our customers who actually made it an octopus. They personified it with an octopus. Lots of the legs that will give you lots of tips and tricks and things. But so we really were able to, when we step back and define where we were going to bring value to our clients and their customers, into those three stages, to go back to your question: unboxing, usage, and care and maintenance.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I'm writing lots of notes, Ken, as you're talking, because I get the unboxing. That's an obvious thing, right? Like 90% of people are going to be unboxing our products, unless it's a digital product, in which case they're still unboxing. It's just clicking a link, right? And you've still got to make that interesting. I remember with our beauty company, actually, when we looked at that unboxing experience, we realized for our customers, when they bought products from us, they were actually buying a gift for themselves. They were treating themselves. It's not how we saw it. We just thought they were buying better skincare, but it wasn't. They were buying a treat. And so we changed the unboxing experience to be more gift-like. A simple thing. I mean, relatively simple. We added an extra flap to the box, and we included tissue paper. 2 changes which added about 2 cents worth of cost to an order. And we did some other things as well to sort of tie in some of the values that we had, like fun and things. But when we looked at that unboxing experience and changed it to suit the story the customers had in their head as to why they were going back to your second why, guess what? Our repeat purchase rate just went up. 2 cents a box. Thanks for that. I'll do that all day long.
Yeah, you bet.
Especially with an average order value. I think it was like 70 or 80 pounds, somewhere around there. So what, like 90, $100 somewhere. And so of course you're going to spend 2 cents because your repeat purchase rate was visibly, noticeably different. And then on the usage side of things, I'm the thing that I wrote down as you're talking in terms of skill level. I always wondered, and I've heard it used as an example in the past, but I'm always amazed that whenever I buy a bottle of shampoo, Ken, because I have to wash my hair. This is
Lucky
I
you.
suppose. Yeah. So every time you buy a bottle of shampoo, you read on the back the instructions on how to use that brand of shampoo. Now, I've probably washed my hair 10,000 times throughout my lifetime. I think I'm pretty good at washing my hair, right? Just like the majority of the population. Yet for some reason, we have to write instructions on the back of the bottle. And they use it as an example, don't they? In copywriting, one of the best things a copywriter ever did was just write the word repeat, rinse and repeat on the back of the shampoo bowl. And it doubled their sales because everybody washed their hair twice all of a sudden. But it's interesting. If I go to a different brand, the first thing I do is read the instructions on the back of the box. And you're kind of like, yeah, but I know what when I think about it logically, I'm like, but I know what I'm doing. I'm fairly sure. You're like, yeah, but this brand might be different. The quantity might be different. I don't know. So I just want to check. There's this sort of thoughts going through your head. And so I can see how thinking about the customer journey in those three areas makes a lot of sense, right? I can see that.
It's actually, you raise a great point. There are products that will not really need a lot of engagement. And maybe some unboxing is the way to go. So we've actually broken our platform into those three stages. So you can start with what we call activation with you and your customer, new customers, and stay there. Just that's all you're going to do is unboxing. And then if you want to add the journeys that go sort of 30 to 90 days, that'll drive engagement and repeat sales, then you include sort of the unboxing or activation into engagement. And then for those products that you want to go all the way to a lifetime connection with care and maintenance, you can go to that stage. And there are three different layers of being able to use our technology. And sometimes, buying a bottle of water, I don't need a lot of help telling me how to drink water. On the other hand, when I'm trying a new supplement or a beauty product and I'm a beginner and never tried it before, skincare, it's incredibly valuable to help that individual really purely from all of our hearts, feel like they get that value from, and they're delighted with that, with that product experience. And then they will buy again and again and again. So it's really an LTV question. When you really when I zoom out from it, I say, what's the lifetime value opportunity between me and my consumer as a brand? And then if I know that it's going to be, there's no way to change the curve. It's like Ken drinks a bottle or two of water every day, and he keeps coming back to the store that he goes to and he buys them, no big deal. But when it's supplements or beauty products or wellness products, or these days, as there's an aging population, like I said, even though I'm young in here, we're all interested, or for our pets, pet wellness. So people wellness, pet wellness, beauty products, food and bev, we see tremendous growth going on there. But even one of the fun ones for me is I have grandkids. I have three little ones now, between the ages of 4 and 6.
Oh wow!
Really crazy fun. And there's products you can buy to engage your grandkids. So some colleagues and I we talked about buying this food baking kit that's a monthly kit, which you can learn from. So the first one came and it's all about honey and bees, and we're going to make honey cookies, and the form factor of like a honeycomb, and put some honey on top of it and all that. And you can imagine, just picture this. We all got together and coming into the kitchen, we scheduled it for a Saturday morning, and the grandkids are there and everybody's excited. And open the box, and the first thing it says inside the box is that you need some vanilla extract. And guess what we don't have?
Guess what you didn't have? Yeah. You can see it coming, can't you?
So talk about the disappointment in all we needed to do now is as soon as that e-commerce purchase is made, they get a thank you like they do today, right out of the e-commerce system, tracking the shipment to the door. And in parallel, that act of buying triggers a couple of days later. Hey, thanks for becoming a great customer. We want to make sure you're ready to unbox your product when you're ready. Check out this link. And then if on the link is going to be that connection point to say you could use some vanilla extract. If you don't have it, here's a place even to buy it. And so you could get that cross sell, whether it's batteries or vanilla extract. Yeah. I love that emotion. That's the post-sale emotion. You know, our super customers, like our super fans, they stay high. They stay connected proactively. You know, they'll all keep coming back to us. It's the customer that makes the decision to buy first time, and then the buyer's remorse sets in, and then maybe they start trying to get the product unboxed. And we've all done this. It's not going great, and we're not sure why. And so rather than bother, I don't want to be embarrassed by calling the company. I'll just sort of have a few extra screws or bolts, you know, I couldn't figure out how to make them work, but it's good enough. And then I'm not delighted, but you know, I bought it once, I don't buy it again. And that's really what we're all about, is creating an emotional connection between a brand and their customer. And prior to us, I think we all looked at the world through the customer, the consumer's in the center of the circle, and the product is the ring around them. Yeah. BluStream just shifted those two things. The product is actually the connection cord between a brand and their customer. That's what you have in common. We put the consumer around it. The buyer is the ring around the product. And there's so many engagement points with your products, from unboxing to usage to care, that we just create it's a new channel for businesses to have to do continue commerce, as well as create referrals and fantastic reviews.
It's, as I'm listening to you talk, the company that is immediately springing to my mind is Apple. And I'll explain why. I think I agree with you in the sense that because we have been around the product that we are selling for so long, we carry insane amounts of knowledge about that product, right? And so it's really easy to assume that our customers have the same amount of knowledge. And this is true with content. You know, we often think, well, I don't know what content to put out there. I talked about this particular feature 6 months ago, and you're like, if you spoke about it 6 minutes ago, they've forgotten about it, right? we have this assumption that people know what we know, and when we tell them what we know, we have this assumption that they remember it. And I think both of those things are false assumptions. And one of the things that I often say to people, listen, if you ever want a lesson in this kind of stuff, just go stand in the Apple store, because these guys are insane at this kind of thing, whereby you can buy the iPad, for example, there. And if you're not tech savvy, well, guess what? They're going to open the iPad with you. They will set it up with you in the store. Some guy is going to come over wearing a headset and show you on a big screen how to do exactly what it is you bought the iPad for, right? And I think it's a remarkable experience in so many ways. And I think what you're talking about is doing online, I think what Apple do in store. It's that care that, we're going to charge you a shed load of money for this product. Yes, they're overpriced, but we are going to give you a customer service that is second to none, and an experience where you go and tell 20 of your friends to buy one because you've had such a good experience. And I think they do that remarkably well. And there's such powerful lessons in there, you know, and I think it's super great. I love it. I love the tips that you've given us. I love this idea of thinking about these 3 buckets, you know, the unboxing, the usage, and the care. I think that's great. I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of this, Ken. Going to get a lot of mileage, no doubt.
I have if I could, I have a thought there about Apple, because I'm with you. You know, I got a new phone recently, And not only is it in the store, but imagine post-sale. I bought a phone and I've decided I'm going to use Apple. And I get a new phone because they're always trying to get us to upgrade phones, whether we need it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So, and I was blown away by the experience. They basically said, just open the phone. It came charged. And I opened it up and it says to me, is this your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
It like started there. And I said, as a matter of fact, it is. And then it said, well, great. I'm going to connect in. And then do you have your old phone? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do right over here. I said, go ahead and turn that on and bring it over within proximity of the new phone. And I did. In other words, the experience I had, and it brought all my file, it brought everything over. And then I said, now what do I do? Like I'm done. Like I will. At this point, I would say I'm just going to always stay with those Apple phones. Why would I go anywhere else? They just delighted me, right? And another point you made, which I think is really important for your listeners too, we talk about this all the time. You've already invested a huge amount of calories, human and financial, economic, in your content. You go to a website today, and there's tons of excellent videos and startup guides and tips and things. But to your point, 6 seconds after I was on the website and I go back to my daily routine, I'm getting bombarded with other people telling me and ads on my Facebook or on my Google, just because I went out and looked at a new supplement. And the next thing you know, I'm getting bombarded and I can't remember that it was on your website. But what we've done with our product experience, the journeys, is have links to your content. You already have it. This is the other part that's, in terms of the amount of effort it takes to get up and running this post-sale engagement. There, you don't have to build much content because you've already got it up there, but it's not being delivered at the right time. It's delivered and designed as that pre-sale website. And then when someone has a problem, they kind of don't come back to your website. They go to like a search engine and just search on the problem, and they may get the wrong answer, like or a competitive answer. So here, what we do is the journeys, the other secret sauce of the journeys that with Journey Builder that gets created is there's spaces to put in your current content, like the quick start guide or, a video from your product management team. Or in my case, when the guitar was in trouble, this guitar brand has fantastic videos on taking care of the guitar, from truss rod adjustments to humidifying the guitar when it's not in use. And they have them all, but they were not delivered to me when my guitar cracked. And so that really is, like, I think you're right on. The content is already there. It's the fact that we're all in this white noise now that it doesn't stay front and center when we need it. And so this is another vehicle post-sale to be able to unbox, use, and take care of this beautiful product they bought from your brand, and you've already got all the answers. You got all the content you need.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you're right. It's no longer just about creating the content. It's about understanding the mechanism to deliver the content in a way that makes sense for the customer. Because it's not just a case now of I'll put out a blog post and that will solve my problem, because that's not going to be the case. Ken, listen, great conversation, brother. And let me ask you the question I like to ask my guests. A question for me, please, good sir, where this is the part of the show where you give me a question and I will answer that question on social media. It can be about absolutely anything. So, Ken, what is your question for me?
So how does a company that has an innovative technology like we have get our word out in the most effective way so that we can help? We're really on a mission purely to help companies connect with their customers around the product experience post-sale. And there's so much white noise out there. It's, I'm sure, a common problem for all of your audience, whether it's pre-sale or not. But for us being new and innovative, there's so much history here that we've been inundated with systems and new products. And so how do you fight through that noise? It'd be great to have you think about that and give us some guidance out there. And I love what you said earlier, what you got with your cohorts and the questions. I just think you're doing so much help to businesses like ours. Matt, thank you very much. My question is just keep giving us guidance on how do we bring innovation to, to e-commerce?
Fantastic. That's a great question. And if you want to know how I would answer Ken's question, then make sure you follow me on social media, well, specifically LinkedIn. You can follow me on Instagram, and maybe I'll start putting the answers on Instagram. I've rarely used it, but definitely LinkedIn. Go check me out on LinkedIn at Matt Edmondson. Ken, listen, love the show, love the question, love the conversation. How do people reach you? How do they connect with you if they want to do that? Maybe they've got some more questions for you. Maybe they just want to find out about BluStream. Where do we go?
So it's Ken at BluStream, no E on that, BluStream.io. So feel free to reach out to me directly. And our website is BluStream.io if you want to try running the Journey Builder for yourself and see, and you get the free report for engagement and then the flow chart that we can talk about and load into our system to try it. And then we'll provide you, Matt, with some links so that it's easy for your audience. Just click a few links and get up to our resources.
Fantastic. We will, of course, put those links in the show notes, which will be either in your inbox if you're subscribed to the newsletter, or if you're on YouTube, just go into the description, or if you're listening to the podcast, they will also be in the show notes on the podcast player. Do reach out to Ken. Do check out that free Journey Builder as well. I'm sure you'll find that super, super helpful. But Ken, listen, we're at the end of the show. So this is the bit where I ask for your best top tip. I'm going to give you the mic for 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes of the show. What's your highest value top tip that you can give to our listeners? The mic is yours, my friend.
Thank you. I'm a little nervous about that. That's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I would say that our customers tell us that what they love about BluStream is our people and our team. And so I just offer, if anyone out there wants to explore the reality and practicality of opening up a new channel post-sale, we're here for you. Whether you ever decide to try something from us or anywhere else, we're on a mission to help the world. Someday, every box that arrives on a doorstep will be able to talk to your customer. And they can ask it a question, and it will just simply answer the relevance to that question. It'll hit that relevant question for unboxing, usage, or care. And we've got a lot of experience now. We have tons of end consumers and brands, and be happy to share all of our resources with any of your listeners.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Ken, listen, loved it, man. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and love what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work, and no doubt we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you so much, Matt. What you're doing is critical for us to continue to evolve around e-commerce. The world has changed. A final thought here is, we used to buy by going to a store. E-commerce completely changed that. We all buy online now and don't need to talk to people. And to a degree, it's commoditized the landscape. It's made it so I can type in sneakers and I'll get thousands of alternatives that I never used to get if I went to the store. So the new frontier, is going to be post the sale. And so we'd be delighted to work with your audience and keep up what you're doing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, there you go. No, thank you. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, we will close out today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. And like I say, if you want to know anything more about Cohort, all that sort of stuff, we'll get today's links. The easiest place maybe is the website, ecommercepodcast.net. But that's it from me. That's it from Ken. Until next time, you have a fantastic week wherever you are in the world. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.